we're dealing with very, very strong subject matter. The scripture has always warned us of what to expect. Unfortunately, evil has entered into what has been kind of dressed up to be the message of God, and basically the whole message dealing with his son, his anointed son, Jesus Christ. When you read 2 Peter, especially chapter 2, when it talks about false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will also be false teachers among you who will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them, bringing swift destruction upon themselves. And then it says, in verse 3, it says, and in their greed, they will exploit you with false words. Their judgment from long ago is not idle, and their destruction is not asleep. It's letting you know that what you're experiencing right now with this legal framework of Christianity is not true Christianity. And so when people like to attack what they say is the message of Christ or Christianity, they're really blaming it on legal Christianity. Because it is in a false form, it's not spiritual. And it has got involved in destructive heresies because it's telling you that Caesar is greater than God. It's telling you that Caesar is greater. Your allegiance to the state is greater than your need to be separate under Christ. It has told you to be unequally yoked with or incorporated with unbelievers and with these nations. They never had the power over you. You've fallen to, unfortunately, false teachings and doctrines. And so the truth was to get brighter and lighter as we got closer. Scripture does say in verse 9 of 2 Peter 2, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from temptation and to keep the unrighteous under punishment for the day of judgment. So let's just take a look at what punishment really is. We've talked about it before, but we're going to look under the word joke. Very, very important word to look at because we use the term joke in the law, and we've mentioned this in a previous video, and there is the word, even a document can be referred to as a joker. And it says, a cunningly worded provision put into a law, legal document, etc., to make it different from what it seems to be. So when we look at the statement of birth record, the statement of birth record on the face of it looks like it's saying that your given name is transferred to the state in the registration, but it's not. The legal birth, which is only the public property, is the surname, not the given name. The given name is not required to be on this document. So it's given an inducement to believe that something which is false is true, but this was never transferable, because remember we read that not only through John Locke, who said the supreme power cannot take from any man his property without his consent, very truthful. Then we have the current, there was a current legal case that we talked about. It was Regina versus Paparella that stated there is no provision in the Canadian legal system for an individual to transfer their given names or convey their given names to anyone, whether to a person, a corporation, or trust. Any document purporting or alleging to do so would in itself be invalid, and having the document notarized doesn't give it any more validity. So they're already telling you your given name's not transferable to the state it never was. That only required your deception and consent to stay with that and to energize that. But it is a joker document because it has a legal framework that implies that. But the state is keeping right outside of that. They put themselves outside the frame because they know that they really did cause the inducement. There could be no legal title to the advantage of anybody in the banking world if it had not been for you being seduced and induced into it. So there is an active state tort that has gone on in here, but you have the ability to make peace in this matter. So we're going to be talking about how do you make peace as a peacemaker.